All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And yes, you are seeing that I am reviewing Charge It to the Game, as far as the number 2 that is. And this one was done by Silkk the Shocker. This joint came out February 17, 1998. So I only reviewed one No Limit album. That was Ghetto Fabulous by Mystico. So I decided to change that a bit with this one right here. Now, the reason why I picked Charge It to the Game is because, if memory serves me correctly, by word of mouth, this was Silkk the Shocker's best album. Some say maybe Made Me, which came out a year later. So I could review that next week, actually. So let's get on with this album. So this joint, like I said, came out February 17, 1998. It was recorded all throughout 1997 under No Limit Records and Priority Records. And the producers involved were Master P, who was the executive producer, Beats by the Pound, who was the co-executive producers, Carlos Steppens, Craig B, KLC, and I crap you not with his name, Moby Dick, I crap you not, and Odell, the producer. I don't know why they got producer in parentheses. So I'm assuming there's a rapper, there's a singer, there's a stockbroker. I don't know about this Odell cat, so I'm gonna leave that alone and move on. Now, let's get back on with these albums. So this album did indeed make the charts. It was number 3 in the US Billboard 200 and number 1 in the US Top R&B Hip Hop Albums charts, and it did go platinum on March 25th, 1998 by the RIAA. Now, there are a grand total of 20 tracks on this album. Now, out of these 20, 2 of them are skits, meaning that 18 of them are actual songs. Now, keep that number in mind because there's a number of things that I gotta break down within these 18 songs. And even with one of these skits here. So the first track, and there's 2 singles, by the way. The first track is called I'm a Soldier. And check this out, man. We got, and actually before I move on with more about I'm a Soldier, let me get into these tracks real quick. So out of all 20 songs, or out of all 20 tracks, all of them, with the exception of 3, were produced by Beats by the Pound. So if I don't mention the producer's name, it's because it was produced by Beats by the Pound. 2 of them was produced by KLC, not KFC, KLC, and 1 was produced by Craig B. In fact, the first track was produced by KLC. See, I almost slipped. And it's called, again, I'm a Soldier, featuring, check out this lineup: Master P, expect to see that name a lot on this album, C Murder, Fiend, Mystico, Mac, Skull and Dudgery, Big Ed the Assassin, Lil Gotti, not related to Herb Gotti, I believe, and Mia X. Track number 2 is called Give Me the World, followed by Throw Your Hood Up, featuring Snoop Dogg, the only song that Snoop Dogg did off this album, and you guessed it, Master P. Track number 4 is actually the first single off this album, called Just Be Straight With Me, featuring Destiny's Child, Master P once again, Moby Dick, expect to see that name a lot, and Odell, expect to see that name a lot as well. Yes, the producer. So I don't know what's up with that. I'm gonna ignore that one. Not the track, but Odell, the producer, how they got that label. Track number 5 is called If I Don't Got Her, featuring Fiend, and you guessed it, Master P. Actually, let me go backwards. Just Be Straight With Me was produced by Craig B. That's the only track that Craig B produced. Now moving on to track number 6, which is the first skit off the album. And actually, I'll get more on that in a second because we get to the next track. So this first skit is called Spot Tagging, and then the next track is called We Can Dance. Now, We Can Dance is one of 3 songs off of this album that Silkk did by himself. The other one was Give Me the World, and the third one I'll get more on in a second. But yeah, there was only 3 songs out of, remember, 18 that Silkk did by himself. The other 15 features somebody, whether they're No Limit or not. Moving on to track number 8, is called Mama Always Told Me, featuring 8-Ball, C Murder, and Master P. Now let me explain something about these Mama songs. I don't know, obviously Master P is involved with a lot of Mama songs, and maybe Silkk as well, because if you recall, I reviewed Ghetto Fabulous by Mystico, and he have a song on there called Life Ain't Cool, and I crap you not, the song starts off with Master P going, and I crap you not, it's so funny. He going, ain't no woman like my mama. You hear that joint like 12 times. Ain't no woman like my mama. Oh, ain't no woman like my mama. Like, I'm like, what is up with Master P and maybe Silkk the Shocker with these mama songs? Not your mama jokes or songs, but mama songs. Well, not songs about your mama, but just mama songs, period. Like, What is up with that? I don't get that. All right, so here's another one right here. Moving on, track number 9 is called You Ain't Gotta Lie to Kick It, featuring Mia X and Big Ed the Assassin, followed by Thug N, as in the letter N, Thug and Me, featuring, you guessed it, Master P, you guessed it again, Moby Dick, Miss Peaches, y'all remember that, and you guessed it, Odell. Track number 11 is called All Night, featuring, you guessed it, Moby Dick. Y'all crappy now, let me give you the name. It's Mo, M-O, then B as in abbreviated, like Mo, B, and then dot, and then Dick. Yeah, so there you go. That's how you do that name. Pause. Track number 12 is called Who Can I Trust? That is the 3rd track off of this album that Silkk did by himself. Track number 13 is the classic It Ain't My Fault, featuring Mystico. That, man, we'll get more on that later. Track number 14 is called What Gangsters Do, featuring Cain and Abel, and you guessed it, Moby Dick. Now, track number 15 is the second and final skit off the album. Oh my gosh, it's not that I'm just stumbling with the words, it's what I used here. It's come. Here's why I'm just shaking my head when I say it's come. First of all, it is called UMMM. This is skit. And let me explain why this is so ironic. The track, like I said, is a skit, and it's about, I'm not sure if it's Silkk or if it's another dude, but it's about one of these dudes having sex with females, and you hear these females moaning and stuff on the track. That's why when I said it comes by accident, I just shook my head. And then the crazy thing is track number 15, which is called which is a skit about somebody having sex and females moaning, leads to the next track, which is called the next track, which is produced by KLC, the second track off of this album produced by KLC, and this track is called, I crap you not, Let Me Hit It. So we went from which is a skit, to Let Me Hit It, which is an actual song featuring Mystico and, you guessed it, Master P. Track number 17 is called How Many Niggas, with a question mark, featuring C Mother, Mia X, Mystico and, you guessed it, Master P. Track number 18 is called Who I Be, with a question mark, featuring, you guessed it, Master P. Track number 19 is called Tell Me, which is produced by True. Not True as in me, myself, and I. No, they actually formed a group called True, which stands for The Real Untouchables. And the members of this group were the 3 brothers, C Mother, Silkk the Shocker, and, you guessed it, Master P. Okay, let's move on to the last track off this album called Me and You, featuring, you guessed it, Master P. So let me do a count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Master P was in 11 out of these 20 songs. Tracks rather. And if you remove the skits, 11 out of 18 tracks. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's move on to the single. So the first single is called Just Be Straight With Me. And remember, this is the one, that features Destiny Child and Mystico. Now, Destiny Child was the lead vocals for the song. And this single came out January 23rd, 1998, and it was recorded in 1997. Now, this song did find some minor success on the Billboard charts, making it to 3 of the magazine's charts, gaining some success on the rap chart. And Just Be Straight With Me was sampled on track 10 of Bun B's second album. Let me look. What is this? Is this supposed to be 2 Trill? I Trill? I'm assuming it's 2 Trill, because it got the Roman numeral number 2, and that track is called Good to Me, again against the Roman numeral number, it gotta be 2, which features Maya, who later collaborated with Silkk in 1998 on her song Moving On. And yeah, that was actually a good song. But moving on, let's get on with the chart for this single. It was 57 on the US Billboard Hot 100, 36 on the US Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Singles and Tracks, 12th on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart. And by the end of the year, it was 38th on the US Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart. So I don't recall really hearing this song like that. If I did, I probably forgot about it because it wasn't really impactful. Unlike the next single, which is called It Ain't My Fault. So this joint came out April 28, 1998. And it was recorded in 1997. And I'll get more on this song later, man, because they brought it on this song, man. Now, there was a remix called It Ain't My Fault Part 2. And this Part 2 had the, you know, it had like additional vocals, like, let me give you the hook. It was like, it ain't my fault, did I do that? So yeah, they recorded the Steve Urkel's famous catchphrase on this song. And that one appeared on Silk's third album, Made Men. So yeah, that was interesting. And Mariah Carey recorded a rework version of the song titled Did I Do That for her album Rainbow. I need to listen to that album actually. So now let's get on to the original It Ain't My Fault. It was 15th on the US Billboard Hot 100, 10th on the US Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Singles and Tracks, and #1 in the US Billboard Hot Rap Singles. Now I actually remember this song. This joint was dope as heck back then, man. Everybody was listening to that one without question. Now, let me give you guys my best tracks off of this album, starting with the worst to the first. Mama always told me worst track off this album, man, without question, followed by Just Be Straight With Me. Even though it got a decent bass line, second worst track off this album. Moving on, Thuggin' Me, it sounds like an R&B song, and in fact, Moby Dick, who is in the song, is an R&B singer, so he was featured a lot in this song. Who Can I Trust was okay. What Gangsters Do with that one was semi-smooth, but I did not like the snare. If it had a different snare, it would have been better in my opinion. Let Me Hit It sounds like this track is the theme for Gang Banging, because you hear a bunch of dudes in there, and then of course this song was performed by 3 dudes. So talking about Let Me Hit It. It sounds like a gang banger anthem to me though. It sounds kind of crazy. Next up is Tell Me, followed by Who I Be, which was straight. We Can Dance. The drums are cool and it bangs, so you know it's cool. You know the song itself was cool. Me and You, the drum bangs here as well though, so it's cool. You Ain't Gotta Lie to Kick It. It's cool and it's really got potential, but it needs a bass line and maybe a different snare. And I'm a Soldier, the beat for that one is cool, and that one will instantly send you back to the late 90s though. It got that late 90s feel right there, man. And How Many Niggas, snare is straight, but it could be so much better with a different snare. Oh my gosh, if this thing had the correct snare, if it had a correct snare, this would have been either the best track off this album or the second best track off this album, man. It was, I was like, oh man, you almost had it with the beat. It's just that snare. It's just that snare. All right, let me give you guys my top 5. So the 5th best song off this album is It Ain't My Fault. It's a classic. And they went in on this, both Mystical and Silkk. They both went in on this song, man, without question. 4th best song off this album is called All Night. The beat is cool, and it's sampled Jam On It by Nucleus, Newcleus. So if you don't know about that Jam On It, it's like jam on it, jam on it, you know. Bum 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 bum. That right there, that. So yeah, you can actually hear that with this beat, and this is really cool, dog. The best track off this album is Give Me the World. It's semi-mellow. The problem is Silkk is a bit too intense with the lyrics. I mean, not with the lyrics, but his delivery, like how he sounded. Like I'm like, dog, this joint is like mellow to some degree. Take a chill pill, chill, man. Like he was like going all in, yelling and trying to be all intense and stuff. I'm like, chill. Like come with the dope lyrics, but chill. And that song could have been better. Second best track off this album is Throw Your Hood Up. The bass and the drums were banging on this one. Oh man, that joint was crazy. But the best track off this album is If I Don't Gotta. That beat is extremely smooth, man. I was like, bruh, if I ever find an instrumental of that beat, man, duh, I would make a song to that, man. It is really, really dope, man. So that, without question, the best song off this album. Now, let me give you guys some professional ratings. AllMusic gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Robert Christgau gave it, I'm assuming that's 3 out of 5. Oh, they just gave it 3 stars. NME gave it 7 out of 10. The Source gave it 4 out of 5 stars. LA Times gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars. Rolling Stones gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Rap Reviews gave it 4 out of 10. And the Washington Post gave it a favorable review. So, what do I think about this album? Well, if you recall my Ghetto Fabulous review, I said that Mystical, in my opinion, was the best artist from No Limit. He was without question my favorite. And Silkk the Shocker was in second. And this is right. This album was really good, man. I kind of slept on this album a little bit, man. I'm gonna have to give this album, ooh, it's not higher than a 4. It's really not. And that like, I'm gonna have to give it 3.75 out of 5. And here's why. The problem is there was a lot of potential, but that's just it, just potential. They didn't fulfill it. You know, they kept messing up with the snares, and in one song they didn't put a bass line in it. I mean, it had so much potential to be in the 4 out of 5 star range with me. It could have been as high as 4.25 or even 4.5 out of 5. It could have been that high, but they left that potential, half of that potential, at the door. You know, If I Don't Got Her, best song off this album. It Ain't My Fault is a straight up classic. All Night was really cool. Throw Your Hoods Up bangs. And Give Me the World, that the best song of the album. That had potential right there. It could have been better. How Many Niggas could have been the best song off this album. Had potential. You Ain't Got a Lot to Kick It. Had potential. You know? And what else? Oh yeah, no. But yeah, you know, oh yeah, What Gangsters Do had potential. Used a different snare. Used the wrong snare in my opinion. So I gotta give it 3.75 out of 5 stars. I recommend you download it and you keep it. Download it and keep it. Download it and keep it. So yeah, there you go with that, man. Y'all know who this is. This your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.